Hello watch enthusiasts and welcome to Watch Chronicler. In today's video I'd like to present a roundup of the most interesting watches released over the past month, from a set of very fun 007 inspired swatches to a simply stunning Moser chronograph. In this video there really is something for everyone. Before I begin, take a look at our Instagram page to get updates about new articles, videos and podcasts, and to engage with Watch Chronicler by using the hashtag WatchChronicler. Also head over to watchchronicler.com to read the very latest articles, such as a piece about a rarely discussed military Omega Seamaster and about the Rolex crisis which has taken place over the last few days. I'd also like to point out that we already have articles up on the website about some pieces which will not appear in this video, such as the Seiko King Turtle, Certina DS Super PH 500M, 160th Anniversary Tag Heuer Carrera, and Black Seiko Marine Master 300. And first, a few watches which have received facelifts over the last month. The popular 42mm Christie C60 Trident Elite 1000 titanium dive watch has been updated with similar specifications to the original limited edition of 300 pieces. However, this version now features an exhibition caseback, day-date display, and fully decorated Sellita SW220 chronometer movement. There is also a new colour version in black and red with a brushed ceramic bezel to complement the 1000-metre diver which this watch is. Another facelift is a yellow-gold version of the MB&F legacy machine Perpetual, a first use of this metal for this particular model. The watch is by any standards remarkable, with a large case and unique Perpetual calendar system which adds days to a 28-day cycle rather than subtracting. The result is as spectacular as it is rare, with a blue dial and only 25 pieces made. The third adjusted model, before I cover the most important watches in depth, is the IWC Portugieser Chronograph, which now uses a 69000 series in-house calibre. For those in the know, a larger version of this watch did formerly feature an in-house 89000 series movement in a larger case, yet the standard watch still used a Veljoux architecture. Previously seen in their pilot range, this 69000 calibre is, to my knowledge, loosely inspired by the Veljoux 7750, but is comprehensively remodelled with the minutes at 12 and the seconds at 6. The world of James Bond watches usually means, at the very least, investing a few £1,000s in an Omega Seamaster, or can mean going the whole hog and acquiring a vintage Rolex Submariner 6538, something increasingly costly to do. However, it's never been possible to acquire one for under £100 until now. Bearing in mind that Omega is owned by the Swatch Group, it does make sense that it would produce a model for the more modestly walleted. Instead, though, it's released 6 watches inspired by the past and present of the 007 franchise. These are all based upon either the 34mm original gents or upon the 41mm new gents. Displaying No O'Clock is the Dr. No variant in the Technicolor of the intro sequence. Next is On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which features 60s text going across the dial and strap, capturing the colours of the film, and also with 007 on the date wheel. The next model pays homage rather simply to the space shuttle in one of Bond's least popular films, Moonraker. The next 2 models take inspiration from the colours and shapes of their respective films and posters surrounding those films, as homages to Licence to Kill and The World Is Not Enough. And finally we have a model which replicates the deck of cards used in the 2006 film Casino Royale. What's perhaps most interesting is that these watches don't replicate the heroic nature of the protagonist as seen in the Seamaster, but rather capture the feel of the film. Each is often in a box which resembles a VHS and should make a lovely addition to anyone's collection. The next watch is one which is so outrageous and spectacular that I simply had to include it in this video. This is especially considering my recent purchase of the Spinnaker Cartograph. This is the Spinnaker Piccard, which pays homage to Auguste and Jacques Piccard. Auguste was the creator of the bathyscaphe, whilst Jacques, his son, was the engineer and oceanographer who was one of the first 2 people to reach, in the bathyscaphe Trieste, the deepest part of the ocean, Challenger Deep, at 10,911 metres in depth. This Spinnaker Piccard is a deliberately oversized piece, but a very charismatic one, with hints of the Rolex Deep Sea Special which descended in that very bathyscaphe Trieste. This Spinnaker measures 47mm in diameter by a whopping 25mm thick, with a 1000-metre water resistance. To reduce its weight, the case is titanium and is stabilised on the wrist by a 26mm wide strap. Most striking for me is the spectacularly domed anti-reflective sapphire crystal, which distorts the edge of the dial like a porthole in a submarine, and one also sees a heavily oversized crown to add to the effect. The dial itself matches the case in either blue to suit the gold tone case, or black to match the titanium case. It's also given superluminova of a Swiss variety on the hands and indices, whilst having a screwed ring over the top to resemble a submersible gauge. Inside this piece and behind a caseback showing a schematic of a bathyscaphe is a Swiss Sellita SW200. Whilst this piece certainly isn't in the same price range as most Spinnakers, this £895 Piccard represents a lovely way to enjoy something totally different and striking, which celebrates history whilst not taking itself too seriously, and from handling previous pieces from Spinnaker I'm certain will be of very high quality. It's widely known that 2020 represents the 60th anniversary of Grand Seiko, and according to Japanese tradition, 60 years is the cycle of life after which a person is reborn. For this reason one can see this anniversary as rather an important one. To mark the occasion, Grand Seiko has released 4 new pieces, with 3 men's models making it into this video as interesting interpretations of the new genre. The first model to discuss is perhaps the most conventional and is the SBGH281. This high-beat watch uses the beautiful high-beat automatic caliber 9S85 with a 55-hour power reserve and 37 joules. The design of the watch has been said to be a simple colour change from other models in the range, although it appears that this combination of movement and 40mm by 13.3mm 100m water-resistant steel case is actually unique. The case reuses the lines of the 44GS from 1967, which arguably defined the Grand Seiko look. Where the dial is concerned, this watch has an uncharacteristically simple sunburst blue dial with red accents. The second model is the SBGP007, a similarly sized 40 by 10.8mm thick dress watch with a gold caseback and a dial with a 2020 pattern on its surface. Of most interest to me, however, is the gold star on the dial, which notes that its high-end 9F85 quartz movement is accurate to plus or minus 5 seconds per year, a really remarkable feat, and a standout feature for a dress watch of this sort. The third model is the SBGP015, which doubles the water resistance with a sports format, but with a case which remains 40mm and is 12.4mm thick. To enhance the sports credentials, it features a ceramic bezel to protect the front of the watch, in matching blue and a screwed crown. The only drawback is that its 9F85 quartz movement is regulated to the standard 10 seconds per year, rather than only 5. Overall, these limited editions do span the range of Grand Seiko offerings for this anniversary, yet feel a tad too simple for such a momentous occasion, with not an awful lot differentiating them at first glance from standard production models. From Panerai, this month's headline offering is spectacular, yet a surprisingly incremental advance for the brand. This is the Luminor Marina Carbotech 44mm, or PAM 01661. In form, this watch takes its design from the existing Luminor Marina, which hails from 1950. It features the quintessential crown guard and the 44mm case, in an excellent balance between the satisfaction of a big Panerai dive watch and daily comfort. As is the custom for the Luminor Marina, this watch also features a dial construction straight out of the 1950s, with a sandwich dial. Originally designed to house a radium and later tritium coated plate, the dial had markers cut out of it through which could be seen the glow of the plate beneath, thus giving excellent legibility. However, this model adds a modern format to the classic design, something relatively new for Panerai. The dial, hands and date wheel, for example, are a deep matte black instead of polished metal or gold, whilst the luminous material used is no longer radium-coloured lume, but bright blue. These are relatively minor changes when compared to the titanium caseback and ultralight Carbotech case, composed of a sandwich of carbon fibre and resin. The result is a 44mm 300m dive watch, which weighs only 96 grams. Inside this watch is powered by the caliber P9010. This is an in-house automatic piece with a 3-day power reserve and automatic winding whilst adding rapid adjustment for the hour hand. Overall, this will satisfy those who want tradition and modernity in one package, and so can enjoy the technology within the Carbotech build, with a design which is more approachable and more traditional. Not often do you hear of a watch brand starting with the bracelet and chronograph movement, and only then designing the case, yet this is just what took place with the H. Moser & C Streamliner Flyback chronograph. Now there's an awful lot going on here, but trust me, it's worth paying attention, as this watch may just be the best watch ever produced by H. Moser. Designed around the Streamliner cars and trains of the 20th century, machines of polished metal and smooth lines, this watch adds a 70s touch to the mix with an extraordinary brushed sunburst finish. The dimensions of this steel case are 42.3 by 14.2 millimeters, and the bracelet is integrated and beautifully brushed to match the general form. Looking at the side of the case, the pushes are placed on either side of the case for fantastic symmetry and are sandwiched between the rims of the case. The crown is displaced to 4. Whilst looking at the side of the case, one should note the box-rimmed crystal, which is just stunning. What's most obvious in this watch, though, is that it doesn't pay homage to any watch, but does a superb job of creating the feeling of an era instead. The dial is a masterpiece, and features an alternating second track. It also features the classic Moser fumé dial, but now with a griffé surface, which means a deliberately roughed, brushed surface. The only applied marker is the lovely one at 12, indicating 60, whilst the chronograph's seconds and minutes are centrally mounted, thus making this the first automatic flyback chronograph with both central hands for the chronograph itself. These hands have their own technology as well as a beautiful design with globalite luminescence proprietary to this brand and seen on previous models. The movement is absolutely stunning, and it's been developed by Agenour SA and has a superb feature set and even houses the automatic rotor underneath the dial in order to make it invisible through the caseback and to show you the exquisite finishing. The beveled edges, the complexity, and even the central part designed after Batman's cowl show such a superb attention to detail that it's difficult to fault this watch on anything other than taste if you simply don't like it. Even for nearly 40,000 Swiss francs, this 100-piece limited edition makes sense as something which, in terms of enjoyment, in terms of surprise, and in terms of difference, a different approach to watchmaking, different approach to design, stands aside from everything else you see from other major brands. Anyway, I'll conclude the video there, but do tell me what you thought of all these watches in the comments down below, and remember to post any photos on Instagram to #WatchChronicler. And remember to like, share and subscribe for more videos here. So thank you very much for watching. This is Armand from WatchChronicler.com. Out.